हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम टू द साइनिंग ब्रेन। आज हम एनसीईआरटी का साइंस क्लास 7 का चैप्टर 3 स्टार्ट करने जा रहे हैं। नाउ लेट्स बिगिन। चैप्टर 3 फाइबर टू फैब्रिक। In class 6, you have learned about some fibers obtained from plants. You also learned that wool and silk fibers are obtained from animal. Wool is obtained from the fleece, hair of the sheep or yak. Silk fiber come from cocoons of the silk moth. Do you know which part of the sheep body yields fiber? Are you aware how these fibers are converted into the woolen yarn that we buy from the market to knit sweaters? Do you have any ideas how silk fiber are made into silk, which is woven into saris? In this chapter, we shall try to find answers to this question. Animal fiber, wool and silk. 3.1 Wool. Wool comes from sheep, goat, yak, and some other animals. These wool yielding animals bear hair on their body. Do you know why these animals have a thick coat of hair? Hair trap a lot of air. Air is a poor conductor of heat, as you would learn in chapter 4. So, hair keeps this animal warm. Wool is derived from this hairy fiber. Activity 3.1 Feel the hair on your body and arm and those on your head. Do you find any difference? Which one seems coarse and which one is soft? Like us, the hairy skin of the sheep has two types of fiber that form its fleeces. First, the coarse beard hair, and two, the fine soft under ear hair close to the skin. The fine hair provides the fibers for making wool. Some breeds of sheep possess only fine under hair. Their parents are especially chosen to give birth to sheep which have only soft under hair. This process of selecting parents for obtaining a special character in their offspring, such as soft under hair in sheep, is termed selective breeding. Animals that yield wool. Several breeds of sheep are found in different parts of our country. Table 3.1. However, the fleece of sheep is not the only source of wool, though wool commonly available in the market is sheep wool. 3.1. Yak, figure 3.2. Wool is common in Tibet and Ladakh. Mohair is obtained from Angora goat, found in hilly regions such as Jammu Kashmir. Wool is also obtained from goat hair. The under fur of Kashmiri goat is soft. It is woven into fine shawl called pashmina shawl. The fur on the body of camel is also used as wool. Llama and alpaca, found in South America, and yield wool. Activity 3.2 Collect picture of animals whose hair is used as wool. Stick them in your scrapbook. If you are unable to get pictures, try and draw them from the one given in this book. Find out words for sheep, goat, camel, and yak in your local language and also in other languages of our country. Activity 3.3 Produce outline map of India and the world. Find out and mark the places on the map where you find animals that provide wool. Use different color to denote the location for different wool yielding animals. From fiber to wool. For obtaining wool, sheep are reared. Their hair is cut and processed into wool. Let us learn about this process. Rearing and breeding of sheep. If you travel to the hill in Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim, or the plains of Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat, you can see shepherd taking their herds of sheep for grazing. Sheep are herbivorous and prefer grasses and leaves. Apart from grazing sheep, rearer also feed them on a mixture of pulses, corn, jowar, oil cake material left after taking out oil from seeds and minerals. In winter, sheep are kept indoor and fed on leaves, grain, and dry fodder. Sheep are reared in many parts of our country for wool. Table 3.1 gives the name of some breed of sheep reared in our country for producing wool. The quality and texture of the fibers obtained from them is also indicated in the table. Certain breeds of sheep have thick coat of hair on their body which yield good quality wool in large quantities. As mentioned earlier, these sheep are selectively bred, with one parent being a sheep of good breed. Once the reared sheep have developed a thick growth of hair is saved off for getting wool, processing fiber into wool. The wool, which is used for knitting sweater or for leaving shawl, in the finished product of a long process which involve the following steps. Step 1. The fleece of the sheep along with a thin layer of skin is removed from its body. This process is called shearing. Machines similar to those used by barber are used to shave off hair. Usually hair are removed during the hot weather. This enables sheep to survive without their protective coat of hair. The hair provide woolen fiber. Woolen fibers are then processed to obtain woolen yarn. Shearing does not hurt the sheep just as it does not hurt when you get a hair cut or your father shave his beard. Do you know why? The uppermost layer of skin is dead. Also, the hair of sheep grow again just as your hair does. Table 3.1. Some Indian breed of sheep. Number 1. Name of breed Lohi. Quality of wool good quality wool. State where found Rajasthan, Punjab. 2. Rampur Husair. Brown quality of wool brown fleece. State उत्तर प्रदेश हिमाचल प्रदेश. 3. नाली क्वालिटी ऑफ वुल्स कारपेट वुल. स्टेट राजस्थान हरियाणा पंजाब. 4. भक्खरवाल क्वालिटी ऑफ वुल फॉर वुलन शॉल. स्टेट जम्मू एंड कश्मीर. 5. मरवारी क्वालिटी ऑफ वुल कोर्स वुल. स्टेट गुजरात. 6. पटनवाड़ी क्वालिटी ऑफ वुल फॉर होइजरी. स्टेट गुजरात. Page number 27. Step 2. The sheared skin with hair is thoroughly washed in tank to remove grease, dust and dirt. This is called scoring. Nowadays, scoring is done by machine. Figure 3.8 B and C. Step 3. After scoring, sorting is done. The hairy skin is sent to a factory where hair of different texture are separated or sorted. Step 4. The small fluffy fiber called burr are picked out from the hair. These are the same burr which sometimes appears on your sweaters. The fibers are scored again and dried. This is the wool ready to be drawn into fiber. Step 5. The fibers can be dyed in various colors as the natural fleece of sheep and goat is black, brown or white. Step 6. The fiber are straightened, combed and rolled into yarn. Figure 3.8d. The longer fibers are made into wool for sweaters and the shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen cloth. The processing of fiber into wool can be represented as follows: shearing, scoring, sorting, cleaning of burr, dyeing, rolling. Page number 28. Occupational hazard. Wool industry is an important means of livelihood for many people in our country, but sorter's job is risky as sometimes they get infected by bacterium anthrax, which causes a fatal blood disease called sorter disease. Such risks faced by workers in any industry are called occupational hazard. Your mother, aunt, grandmother, the kind of silk saris they have. List the kind of silk. Before we discuss the process of obtaining silk, it is necessary to know the interesting life history of the silk moth. Life history of silk moth. The female silk moth lay egg from which hatch larvae which are called caterpillar or silkworm. They grow in size, and when the caterpillar is ready to enter the next stage of its life history called pupa, it first weave a net to hold itself. Then it swing its head from side to side in the form of the figure of 8. During this movement of the head, the caterpillar secretes fiber made of a protein which harden on exposure to air and becomes silk fiber. Soon the caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fiber and turns into pupa. This covering is known as cocoon. The further development of pupa into moth continues inside the cocoon. Silk fiber are used for weaving silk cloth. Can you imagine that the soft silk yarn is as strong as comparable thread of steel? The silk yarn thread is obtained from a cocoon of silk moth. There is a variety of silk moth which took very different from one another, and the look and silk yarn they yield is different in texture, coarse, smooth, shiny. Thus tussar silk, munga silk, kosa silk etc are obtained from cocoon spoon by different type of moths. The most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth. The silk fiber from the cocoon of this moth is soft, lustrous and elastic, and can be dyed in beautiful color. Sericulture or culture of silkworm is a very old occupation in India. India produces plenty of silk on a commercial scale. Activity 3.5. Collect pieces of silk cloth of various type and paste them in your scrapbook. You can find them in a tailor shop among the heap of waste cut pieces. Take help of your mother, aunt, or teacher and identify the type of silk such as mulberry silk, tassar silk, eri silk, munga silk, etc. Compare the texture of this silk with that of the artificial silk pieces which contain synthetic fiber. Try and collect pictures of different moths whose caterpillar provide the various type of silk. Activity 3.6. Take an artificial synthetic silk thread and a pure silk thread. Burn these thread carefully. Did you notice any difference in the smell while burning? Now burn a woolen fiber carefully. Did it smell like burning of artificial silk or that of pure silk? Can you explain why? To remember when the cocoon stage is reached in the life history of the silk moth, try the following activity. Activity 3.7. Photocopy figure 3.9. Cut out picture of the stages of the life history of the silk moth and paste them on piece of a cardboard or chart paper. Jumble them. Now try to arrange the stage in which correct sequences in a cyclic form. Whoever does it fastest win. You may also describe the life history in your own word. Write it down in your scrapbook. In India, women are significantly involved in various kinds of industries related to silk production. These are rearing of silkworm, reeling of silk from cocoons, and processing of raw milk into fabrics. By their enterprise, they contribute to the nation's economy. China leads the world in silk production. India also ranks among the leading silk producing countries. From cocoon to silk. From obtaining silk, for obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk thread. Rearing silkworm. A female silk moth lay hundreds of eggs at a time. Figure 3.10a. The eggs are stored carefully on a strip of cloth or paper and sold it to silkworm farmer. The farmer keep eggs under hygiene condition and under suitable condition of temperature and humidity. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larva to hatch from egg. This is done when mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of leaves. The larva called caterpillar or silkworm eat day and night and increase enormously in size. Discovery of silk. The exact time of discovery of silk is perhaps unknown. According to an old Chinese legend, the Empress Si Lung Chi was asked the Emperor Huang Ti to find the cause of the damaged leaves of mulberry tree growing in their garden. The Empress found white worm eating up mulberry leaves. She also noticed that they were spinning shiny cocoon around them. Accidentally, a cocoon dropped into her cup of tea, and a tangle of delicate thread separated from the cocoon. Silk industry began in China and was kept a closely guarded secret from for hundreds of years. Later on, traders and travelers introduced silk to other countries. The route they traveled is still called the Silk Route. The larvae are kept in clean bamboo trees along with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. After 25 to 30 days, the caterpillar stops eating and moves to a teeny chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin cocoon. A small rack or twigs may be provided in the tray to which cocoon get attached. The caterpillar or silkworm spin the cocoons inside which develop the silk moth. Processing silk. A pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fiber. The cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fiber separate out. The process of taking out thread from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. Reeling is done in a special machine which unwind the thread or fiber of silk from the cocoon. Silk fiber are then spun into silk thread, which are woven into silk cloth by weaver. This is the end of the chapter. There is some keyword: cocoons, scoring, silk moth, fleece, sericulture, silkworm, reeling, shearing, and sorting. Thank you. Have a nice day.